Off-season opinions are fluid, and as of January 17th, I firmly believe that the 49ers' best option in the draft as far as the quarterback position goes is drafting Mac Jones. I know Jones is a very underwhelming name, especially when there are much more sexier prospects at the position. You look at Trevor Lawrence, who's been placed on a pedestal for the last several years. Justin Fields is arguably the most physically gifted quarterback in this class. In the college football playoffs against Clemson, he put on a show, dazzled with his arm talent, and displayed a type of toughness that any franchise would love to have in their starting quarterback for the next decade. Zach Wilson has already won over the hearts of 49er fans after a video game-like season at BYU, where he posted nearly 3,700 passing yards, had an 11-1 touchdown to interception ratio. And then there's Trey Lance, who is the most intriguing quarterback prospect in this class, in my opinion. He had played in one game in 2020. Did not look particularly good in that game, threw the ball around 50%, completed about 50% of his passes. But going back to 2019, he won an FCS championship with the North Dakota State Bison. He threw 28 touchdowns to no interceptions. He added 1,100 rushing yards and another 14 rushing touchdowns. Trey Lance has a very, very high ceiling. What those four draft prospects I just mentioned represent is excitement. And in a league that is being taken over by Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, there is this craving for a quarterback that is able to extend plays with their legs. And that does not necessarily mean that the quarterback is frequently looking to run. That's not what it means whatsoever. It just means that they have the ability to extend plays when the pocket collapses or the play in general breaks down. It's not over. They're not a sitting duck. And when you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, they're sitting ducks. And it doesn't help that the 49ers' right side of their offensive line frequently caves in and leaves that sitting duck out to dry, hangs that sitting duck out to dry. Mac Jones is not necessarily a play extender. He's not going to frequently make plays outside of the pocket, but he's not a sitting duck either. He has a great feel for the pocket, knows how to manipulate it, and works the pocket very, very well. I know the thought of a drop back passer is easy to yawn at. It's boring. Again, Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, excitement, Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, Lance, they represent that excitement. That's what everybody wants. But hear me out when I say the 49ers' wisest and possibly best option in this year's draft is to trade down and select Mac Jones. For reason number one, Jones is the least risky quarterback in this class, all things considered. Key phrase there, all things considered. Trevor Lawrence is going to go first overall unless Justin Fields has a crazy combine, does exceptionally well in interviews, and he's somehow miraculously able to leapfrog Lawrence. So Lawrence is out of the question. That leaves Fields and Wilson, who Fields, his draft range right now is anywhere from second overall to fifth overall, somewhere in the top 5. Zach Wilson can go top 5 or somewhere in the top 10. You have to give up a lot to move up to get either of those guys. I would support the move. They are great prospects. There's nothing wrong with trading up to get your guy. If Kyle Shanahan is in love with Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, he feels like that's his quarterback for the next 10 years, by all means, make that aggressive move, go up and get your guy. But again, if that move doesn't work out, it could really set back your franchise. And anytime you give up a lot of draft capital to move up to get your guy, there's instant pressure on him to succeed. And to give you a better idea of what the 49ers would need to give up to leapfrog somewhere in the top 8, top 9, or even higher to get Wilson, and they'd have to give up a lot more to move up even higher to get Fields. Here is the Draft Tech draft pick value chart. So what's highlighted are the 49ers draft picks, and you can see their point value, what they're missing. The 49ers have 10 draft picks in this year's draft. They're missing the compensatory pick from Robert Saleh, the compensatory pick from Emmanuel Sanders, and the 5th-round pick from the Quan Alexander trade. So the 49ers have 10 picks. What's highlighted right now is only 7 picks. To make sense of this chart, the 49ers would need to trade X amount of points between their picks to equal or exceed the point total of the draft selection or the draft slot that they're trading for. So it would cost the 49ers a lot. And keep in mind, this is a team that's going to be going through the most roster turnover since Kyle Shanahan has taken over as head coach. You can look at 2017 and when he blew up that Chip Kelly roster from the year prior. This is different. The team this year has 27 unrestricted free agents, another 11 restricted free agents, and those free agents played key roles on this team. Looking at guys like Kyle Juszczyk, Kendrick Bourne, Trent Williams, who knows what's going to happen with him, Kerry Hyder, Jason Verrett, Jaquiski Tart, K'Wan Williams. There are a lot of 49er free agents that played very important roles on this team for the last 2, 3, 4 years. For a team in that position, it may be wise to move down in the draft, pick up draft assets to better prepare players that are departing, to better prepare filling those voids on the roster. That may be the 49ers' best bet. So opposed to trading future draft picks to get Fields or Wilson, drop back, pick up picks, and draft a guy like Jones. Reason 2, build a complete bully. In 2019, the 49ers were the most complete team in the NFL, hands down. Though they were the most complete team, it didn't result in a Super Bowl championship, a Super Bowl victory. The Super Bowl victory went to the play-extending quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, with the big arm. In that specific situation, that specific game, Patrick Mahomes won. But if you look at quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, teams move up to draft those guys because they can mask flaws. But if you have a complete football team, you're better off than a team that has flaws, that are trying to mask those flaws with their quarterback. And there's a reason why quarterbacks like Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes come around once every 5 Super Bowl. The 49ers did not lose simply because Patrick Mahomes is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. It's a lot more complicated than that. Yes, the Chiefs had the advantage at the quarterback position, but Jimmy Garoppolo played well enough for 3.5 quarters for the 49ers to win that game. And of course, he didn't deliver on that ball, that throw downfield to Emmanuel Sanders, but the game was so much more in depth than that, where you look at that throw, and it wasn't the sole reason why the 49ers lost that game. Again, the team is moving on, could potentially be moving on from a lot of players. Robert Saleh is now the head coach of the Jets. A handful of players may follow him there. Trading down allows you to address the offensive line position. It allows you to address the cornerback position. If you move down, you can knock out the interior of the offensive line, the secondary, and get your quarterback all within the first 2-3 rounds of the draft. How sweet would that be for the 49ers? My third reason, Kyle Shanahan does not need an elite quarterback. Emphasis on need. Yes, everybody wants an elite quarterback. Kyle Shanahan is an elite play caller, play designer in the NFL. He frequently schemes receivers wide open. All he needs is a quarterback to deliver those receivers the ball in stride. And Mac Jones has shown the ability to do that time and time again. My fourth point. This isn't necessarily a point, but it's more so a stance and opinion that the 49ers should cut Jimmy Garoppolo or trade Jimmy Garoppolo, try to get something for him first, and then commit to the plan of drafting a rookie quarterback or trading down for Mac Jones in the draft. And the reason why I'm saying a rookie quarterback is because you can make this particular argument for any quarterback in the draft, any rookie. Cutting Jimmy Garoppolo saves you $24 million in cap space. I would advocate that the team needs to get it done before free agency because you have $24 million to work with. And if you commit to that rookie, you're able to have the spending flexibility to build that bully, be a complete football team. Spot Track, Over the Cap, they both project that the 49ers have around $22 million in cap space right now. That number can go up to $46 million if they trade or cut Garoppolo. That gives you the financial ability to be able to bring back some of your guys and possibly even pick up additional talent. Looking at guys like Curtis Samuel, who would be a great fit in the 49ers offense. But I'm talking specifically about Mac Jones. Why select Mac Jones over a guy like Trey Lance? Mac Jones is the cheapest pro-ready quarterback in this year's draft. And when I say pro-ready, I truly feel like he can step on the field week one and play at a Jimmy Garoppolo type level. Trey Lance, it concerns me that he is only 20 years old and hasn't played football in a year. It's a tough ask for a kid that's not even of age to drink yet to step in and lead an NFL offense. He'll be 21 by the time next season rolls around, but again, he's not ready right now. And I wouldn't be against drafting Trey Lance. Trey Lance has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this draft, in my opinion, the ultimate boom or bust prospect. But you need to keep a veteran, whether it be Garoppolo or somebody else, on the roster if you plan on drafting Lance. My general thoughts on the 49ers quarterback position is that the concerns are a little bit overblown. Jimmy Garoppolo is not perfect, but if the worst thing in the world is him returning to facilitate the offense again next season, then it's not that bad. It's not the worst thing. There are much more challenging quarterback positions in the NFL. Looking around the league, there's a lot worse situations than the 49ers situation is what I'm trying to get at. If Jimmy Garoppolo returns, so be it. But the only thing that is non-negotiable is that you need to upgrade the backup position behind him. It needs to be done if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starting quarterback next year. If you trade up for Fields or Wilson, great. That's another move that I would support because those are two great prospects that would thrive in Shanahan's system. But you just have to be mindful, buyer beware, that you are risking a lot to move up for those guys. And if they don't pan out, your franchise is likely going to be set back because of what you gave up to move up and select them. The 49ers can stay at 12 and draft Trey Lance, which I'd also support. Again, very high ceiling prospect, but you need to be patient with Trey Lance. It's going to take time for him to reach his ceiling, just like we've seen with Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. Patience. But trading down for Mac Jones, you pick up draft capital. More is handed to you. You can address so many positions and be that complete football team. Add depth. I'll ask this final question. Think to yourself, how much better is a team led by Zach Wilson or Justin Fields and no first or second round picks, maybe even third round picks in 2021, 2022? Of course, you'll use the 21 first round pick on either of those two quarterbacks. But outside of that, having no day one or day two draft picks over the next 2 years, how much better is that team than a team led by Mac Jones and multiple day two picks over the course of 2021 and 2022? Ask yourself that question. Build a bully. Don't be the team that tries to have their franchise quarterback mask all their flaws, because at the end of the day, they still have flaws. Nick Newman, All 49ers Sports Illustrated. Give me a follow on Twitter at @NinerNick_22.